think it was also a little bit of a reality check for us in our bubble, wasn't it? It's good to hear that, yeah, it sounds all good and great, but it's not really what we're seeing, and it might take a little bit more time. At least for me, it was a reality check. So we're moving the stage a little bit in the meantime. Assuming you guys are interested in working less, yet achieving more in the meantime, who doesn't? Now it's time to really start paying attention. And we'll find out during the next keynote that it has a lot to do also with energy. So the next keynote speaker is Lena. Yeah, there she is. She's already waiting. So she's from the UK. I don't think you're originally British, though. You'd have to tell us. And you are a human design entrepreneur. Really interesting. And yeah, you're going to tell us a little bit how we can work less and achieve more. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lena Thompson. I'll bring you your clicker.
That would have
Go
been
ahead.
helpful. How do I use this?
Yeah, to the right.
Just to the right. I believe in a future where our success and our productivity are not just measured by what we do, but rather by the way we feel about what we do. And what I mean by that is what makes someone truly valuable in organization is not just the titles, achievements, how much money they make, but it's the energy that they bring to the work. It's the way they show up for themselves and for others. And most importantly, their willingness to take ownership for their own actions and behaviors. I have spent over 15 years in a corporate arena, and I had a thriving career. I was making six figures, kids in private schools, amazing holidays. So on the surface, I had it all, but everything inside of me was dying. I felt so disconnected, empty, unfulfilled, and just drained by mundane tasks. And for a long time, I tried to find that spark, the passion for my job I used to enjoy. But for so long, I've been focusing on doing things that did not inspire and did not energize me, that eventually, after evaluating all the aspects of my life, on the verge of emotional burnout, feeling like I had no control over where my life, my career were going, I quit. And I started a business thinking I had to do something with my life. But I really wanted to understand, what was it that I was good at? What was it that set my heart and my soul on fire? And for a while, it was a lot of fun. I was my own boss. I was not accountable to anyone. I could work in my pajamas with a cup of coffee or a bottle of wine. Nobody cared. But soon, I began to realize that all I was doing is just recreating a reality similar to the one I ran away from, because I still felt unseen, unrecognized, unfulfilled. And this time, I was broke, and I was overworked. Eventually, I hit an energetic burnout. I had no energy left to give, no energy left to show up. I struggled to make even simplest decisions. And one day, I remember I came downstairs, I opened my laptop, and I forgot how to type. So for the first time in my life, I allowed myself to slow down and take a real good look at everything that was going wrong within my life, within my work, and most importantly, within myself. And what I saw clearly is that instead of fueling my vision with my energy, I was wasting my energy on all of the things that were outside of my control. I was comparing myself to others. I was judging myself for not being as successful as them. I wanted to get their approval, their validation. I wanted them to be so badly on my team that in the midst of all that, I forgot what it's like to value and believe in myself. So I decided to make some radical changes to the way I thought, to the way I felt, to the way I acted, and focus all my attention on things that mattered to me the most. I started paying more attention to how I was feeling, prioritizing my energy above everything else, trusting myself to make my own decisions, and implementing a methodology which I will be sharing with you today that helped me to transform my work and my life around. So now, since I've implemented those changes, I feel emotionally and energetically lighter. I navigate through challenges with so much more ease. I work way less, and I'm so much more productive. And most importantly, I am now on my own team. What I've realized on this journey is that we give a lot of our power away to external sources, to titles, achievements, approvals, validations, that often we forget that who we are is what matters the most. We live in this society that is so addicted to business, to doingness, to achieving, comparing, competing, and that only keeps us away from understanding and believing in ourselves. So the question is, how can we take this power back? And does taking it back really means we can become more productive, more engaged, more fulfilled? Today, I'm going to share with you 3 steps to show you how you can increase engagement, productivity in your teams, and also take back control of your time. Because extraordinary productivity is not about time management. It's about understanding yours and your people energy. It's about helping your people to make solid decisions and leveraging their strength. What I'll be sharing with you today will be new to most of you and rather unconventional. So I invite you to play in this newness, to stay open-minded and just take what resonates and leave what does not, because this is going to be practical to you as a leader and also something that you can take back to your teams. I'm going to start with energy, because energy is at the core of everything. In fact, energy is our new currency. We cannot be productive. We cannot show up. We can't make decisions. We can't engage unless we have energy. To simply put it, without energy, there is no life. And quantum physics tells us that everything is made up of energy, and that includes our human bodies, which is 99.999% energy. And each and every single one of us have our own energetic strategy, our own energetic DNA that shows us how we're here to interact with the world and what we need for us to stay engaged, productive, and fulfilled, and energized, of course. So when you understand yours and your people's energetic strategy, you will be able to help them to optimize their energy in all aspects of their career. Decision-making, relationship with each other, communication, creativity, and so much more. We now have a tool, a system that sheds a light on our energetic DNA and can therefore help team leaders and managers to effectively match their people's unique energy to the tasks that inspire and energize them. So what exactly is the system? I want you to think of Myers-Briggs, DISC, StrengthsFinder, all of these amazing tools that have been used by organizations for many, many years. What I want to introduce you today is called human design, which builds on that and adds one essential element to it. You probably have guessed, our energy. And as such, it has the potential to create a new paradigm shift in your business because it helps you to understand what lies below the surface of each and every person. WeWork, Unilever, Forbes, many other organizations have brought human design to their teams and were able to gain a valuable insight on how their people operate and collaborate in a workspace. So let's look at a very high overview of human design that introduces us to 5 different career types. And in your office, you're going to have a mix of all of them. And each type have their own set of skills, their strengths, and the way they remain energized, productive, and engaged is different for each and every one of them. Manifestors, they make roughly 7 to 9% of population, and they're here to get things started. Whether it's conversations, client engagements, projects, and when they feel empowered, when they feel free to run with their ideas without waiting for validation for others to get on board with them, they have a gift of transforming their vision into reality. But these people, and you may actually know people like that in your company, maybe you are one of them, they are the people who start a lot of things. And often, don't have the energy or the willpower to finish any. So manifestors must be encouraged to inform others of their actions, because it's going to be the other people who are going to help them to finish all of these things that they like to start and enable them to go and start something else. Generators and manifesting generators, they are majority of people. So they're roughly about 70% of generators in the world. And they are the only two types who have a sustainable supply of energy. So they've got this like energetic reservoir within their bodies. And therefore, when they're involved with work that they love, the work that fulfills them, that they feel passionate about, they become the true powerhouse of your organization. But give them something to do that they don't feel inspired by, they feel drained by, that they don't connect with. You can see immediately their productivity going down and their frustration goes up. Hi, I'm a generator, and I've been frustrated for many, many years. One of the key differences between those two types is when you have a generator, they need to be encouraged to focus on one thing only. They can't be pulled into different projects because they're just going to lose their focus. While manifesting generators are here to multitask, and boxing them into doing one thing only will slow them down and potentially even burn the circuits. Projectors, they make 18 to 22%. By the way, if anybody's adding up the numbers, they're not going to add up to 100, so my maths is not right today. Projectors between 18 to 22%, and they're here to guide us. They have a unique gift of seeing and unlocking potential in other people. But they're not here to be the doers like generators are. And if they try to keep up with generators, they will burn out. So they must be encouraged to pause frequently throughout the day, go for walks, go sit on a couch, go contemplate, wash the dishes, whatever it is that gets them away from the doingness. Because when they're well rested, when they're energized, they become so much more productive than all the other types. And last but not least, reflectors. There's only 1% of reflectors in the world. They're here to reflect to us who we are being. They're here to reflect to us the health of our organization and health of our teams. So if you want to see how aligned your company culture is with the value of your employees, put a reflector there and observe them. For reflectors to thrive, they must be in our communities that feel inspiring, that feel supportive with the people that they like and they trust. So what impact does it have on your team? The changes that we experienced in the last few years have made us look at how we work in a very, very different way. And I believe that a lot of traditional approaches will no longer work, simply because they're not focused around individuals. So for a company and for leaders to really get the best out of their people, they need to understand what lies below the surface of each and every person, because having access to this information will help you to increase engagement, increase productivity, and reduce conflict. And it's the energy that changes the game. According to Gallup research, people who focus on their strength are 6 times more likely to be engaged, and the same research established a compelling relationship between focusing on strength and productivity. Focusing on strength has also been proven to increase your health and well-being and decrease the discomforts and anxiety and stress. So the question is, why, instead of building on our strength and turn them into our genius, we turn to our weaknesses and we try to turn them into strength? Well, one of the reasons are our strengths are so natural to us, and often we don't see it within ourselves. We think if we can do it, so can everyone else. And therefore, it should become responsibility of the leaders to help their people to identify at least that one remarkable thing about them and help them to leverage that in the workplace. So how do we do that? I believe that investing in personal development of people is the key to organizational success, because it helps people to become more aware of their weaknesses, of their strengths. It helps them to take more responsibility for their own actions and behaviors. It increases their compassion, integrity, confidence, and in turn, it all leads to career progression. Spend time with your people. Ask them, what is it that they love doing? What things come naturally to them? What tasks make them feel good? For too long, we have been focusing on how people are thinking. In this future world, we have to start paying more attention how people are feeling. So let me ask you two questions, and please put your hand up if that resonates. Have any of you ever made a decision, an impulsive decision that you later regretted? Good. Wow, okay. And keep your hand up. You can lower it down in a minute. If you've ever made a decision where in your whole body you felt it was the true one for you, even though others tried to talk you out of it, data didn't line up, but you felt it and you went for it. Awesome, I love it. Thank you, you can put your hands down. We'll come back to that. So your ability to make decisions and confidently stand by your choices will determine how successful and how productive you are. And one of the biggest problems, I guess, we face right now is making decisions, because we are bombarded with information and under pressure to make decisions wisely and quickly. So we seek counsel from our friends, from our colleagues. We wait for data and for everything else to make sense. But sometimes, in absence of data, and once we had time to process everybody's feedback and opinions, but we still feel like something isn't right, we have got to be able to tap into that part of us that already knows, the part of us that is beyond logic and beyond reason. And this is when intuitive intelligence can become the greatest asset to your decision-making process. We use our intuition all the time. I mean, all of you pretty much put your hands up when I asked if you've ever made a decision when you felt it was the right thing to do. This was intuition talking to you, because intuition is the language of your body. But often we dismiss it as luck, coincidence. We fail to act on it because it's not rational. Well, it wouldn't be rational. And later, we regret the missed opportunity. So why does it even matter? But before I jump into it, I just want to get very clear and say I'm not dismissing facts and data. It's still very important, especially when the data is known, when the environment doesn't really change much, or when you've got a lot of experience in a certain arena. But when there's ambiguity in data, when the environment keeps on changing, and especially decisions that are focused around people, this is when combination of logic and intuition can become super powerful, because it helps your people to become more innovative. It ignites their creativity, enables them to make decisions quicker, and also helps them to anticipate changes ahead of time. And I love this quote by Albert Einstein, where he says, "Intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and rational mind is a faithful servant. We created society that honors the servant and forgotten the gift." So the big question I get asked a lot, what do I do to become more intuitive? The good news is there's nothing we need to learn, but there is quite a bit we need to unlearn. Because trusting our intuition can be really, really hard, as we've been educated to be very, very logical, very rational. The first rule is to slow down. We live in this high-paced society that we can't even hear ourselves think. You can't be on autopilot, constantly doing, constantly being busy, running from meeting to meeting, and being creative and being intuitive. When you slow down physically, energetically, you speed up. And you can also then get an ability to tap into your subconscious mind that processes 27,000 times more data than your logical mind. So all of a sudden, you have access to all of the information that you were consciously not even aware of. Encourage your people to pause, slow down, especially if they're faced with challenges, if they don't know what's next. Instead of running from meeting to meeting, Googling, researching, encourage them to go for a walk, to sit quietly, because it's during those moments that they're gonna have those breakthrough moments. You know, like sometimes you're like singing in a shower, or washing the dishes, walking your dog, and you get this like revelation. Those revelations are available to us all the time, but we have to learn how to slow down first. Meditating. This is one of the best ways to develop your intuitive muscle, because that's all intuition is, right? I mean, if you decide to get a six-pack, you're not just going to go to the gym, do one crunch, and say, the shit doesn't work. You will carry on persisting with it. Same as with meditation. If you persist with it, you tap into your inner knowingness, where you know something without even knowing how you know that. It can come as a nudge, as a whisper, as a feeling. Imagine how much time you can save in your day when you know the next right step for you to take, the next right decision for you to make. And finally, human design authority. So we briefly touch on human design and how it can help us to optimize our energy in all aspects of our lives. The reason I love human design, and I use it on myself, or with myself every single day, with my clients, is that it gives us a very practical and tangible way to understand how our people are genetically wired to make decisions, because we are all very different. Earlier, when I asked you if you've ever made an impulsive decision and later regretted it, over 50% here, what in human design we call have an emotional authority. So when you're faced with the choice, with the decision, your body actually goes through a chemical process. You ride an emotional wave. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. It can be excitement, frustration, anger, sadness, whatever it is. But making decisions at the height of this emotional wave will often lead to regret. It's easy to hide behind the data, to hide behind the facts, and ignore that nagging feeling in our body. But in my opinion, when we ignore this nagging feeling, like Albert Einstein said, we ignore our sacred gift. So just to wrap this up, guys, this is the formula for the new age of productivity. It's understanding and optimizing your energy, understanding how to leverage strength, and helping your people to make decisions. I know what it's like to run on empty, and I know what it's like to feel unheard, unseen, unfulfilled. And this is why I'm so grateful to be with you today to share what has completely transformed my life and my work around. And I'm going to leave you with one little last nugget. One of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford, where he said that the only thing that is worse than developing your people and have them leave is not developing people and having them stay. And I'm just going to add to this and to say that in this new paradigm of business, personal development of people should become priority of any organization. Because if you don't do that, we're going to be solving exactly the same issues year after year after year and just assigning different labels to them. But the key thing here to understand is we don't get in life what we want. We get in life who we are. And what I mean by that is, before we develop anyone else, we have to start with ourselves first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lena. Can we pull the slide on screen? I saw there were still some real estate questions on there, maybe some energetic questions now popped up, but I also got one myself because probably a human being, just like all of you, when you see those 5 persona on screen, right, you start plotting yourself, maybe some team members up there, and you immediately think, yeah, I'm that type of guy, and I kind of hate working with the other types of people, but especially if you're a manager and you want to bring out the best of people, make them something they love, how do you suggest dealing with that, knowing you are maybe an innovator, but also working with the other people on the list, although it can be so energy draining, and that's exactly what you said we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, so I think, when you become more aware of others' needs, you become more accepting. That's at least what I found. So if you know that this person, like projectors we spoke about, they really need to be able to pause throughout the day. So if you know that this person doesn't have sustainable energy and pushing them can only actually impact their performance, you will understand their needs, and I think you'll become more compassionate. You'll develop more compassion for themselves and also for yourself, right? Because we often beat ourselves up for being impatient, for being judgmental, and we don't practice compassion for ourselves. So I think self-compassion is probably the best thing we can ever do for ourselves.
Very good. Thanks for the questions, really, really fast. How do you combat acting on intuition and preventing bias?
I say start small. I don't say make life-changing decisions based on your intuition. And of course, one of the most important things is being open to it. It's not for everyone. I mean, some people are just completely don't resonate with it, and that's what I say, take what resonates. But if there is some curiosity, I always say start small. You know, let's say your friend asks you for dinner, check with your body, check with your feeling, do I really want to do this? And then act on it, honor that feeling, and then just see where life leads you. Because once you start putting one foot in front of the other, so many doors, so many opportunities will open up.
Very good. So second, and looking at the time, also last question, what were the tests that were suggested along with StrengthsFinder?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I don't understand that question. If you can ask differently, maybe I'll answer that, but...
So we'll give that individual a second. At least you've already inspired Johanna, as you can see. She already learned a lot, so that's really good. So I do not see additional questions
coming in.
When
I discovered I was a projector, I just changed relationship to myself. Oh, I'm glad you know your energy type, Joanna. Well done.
So I think we've got now the additional info. Thank you. There's like people are fast. That's good. So how can we slow down when there's too much to do and you're feeling burned out?
Well, I mean, we can agree that by doing more, it doesn't mean you're going to be more productive, especially if you're burnt out. So, you know, when you slow down, as I mentioned before, you're able to tap into a different state of you, different state of consciousness that will help you to finally start finding the clues and the answers as what to do next. We can spend 10 hours a day doing something and not achieve anything, or we can work 1 hour a day and we can achieve so much more.
Very good. Thank you very much. Lena Thompson, ladies and gentlemen.
Most welcome.
All right.